Hey guys, how you going? I need one of them, and some men actually, to to do it, because even though I know, I have a structure under my trees, so you would have to tie ropes around the trees to make them fall or branches to make them fall certain ways away from the house, or any structure that it could land on underneath, like fencing or. But what a great idea! I wonder if this is for real. I think it might be, but you can let me know down below. Anyway, we're going to go through some other news. We've got a fair bit here today. We have Colin Rugg, New California's on the verge of approving a measure that would make illegal immigrants eligible for $150,000 in state-supported home loans for down payments. California taxpayers may soon be paying for illegal immigrants' down payments on homes. Illegals won't be required to save any money, considering the state would be funding their down payment, something that almost all financial institutions require to purchase a home. If the bill reaches his desk, the governor will evaluate it on its merits, said spokesperson for Gavin Newsom. The program is called the California Dream for All Loan Program, which will provide 20% down payment assistance up to $150,000. Here is Gavin Newsom telling people not to lecture him on the border because he is a border state governor. If he approves this measure, he'll effectively be encouraging illegals to come to California. What a half-wit.
I'm a border state governor, and you'll lecture me on this topic. The reality is lived every single day. We need comprehensive immigration reform. And the irony of this, the frustration I have, is Joe Biden put out a great plan. He has a plan, 8-year pathway to citizenship, fast-tracking Dreamers and TPS, dealing with border security and new technology.
Well, Governor, I know you're complaining that we're a border state here, but come on, think about it for a minute. Why are you allowing your Senate Appropriations Committee here in the state to pass a proposal that would give illegal immigrants down payment assistance when they come to buy a house? What about hardworking Californians? And then on top of that, you're giving promos to the Biden administration who diverted the VA benefits that were meant to be for veterans. These were healthcare benefits that are now going to illegal immigrants. We're doing the same thing here in California with that big Medi-Cal expansion that allows illegal immigrants to receive free healthcare. On top of that, the Senate Appropriations Committee just passed a proposal. You know, they want to have control over the masses, so they want to institute universal basic income. California is the petri dish for what they want to do in the rest of the nation. I mean, come on, you're also blaming Republicans for the fact that we haven't had meaningful immigration reform. Recall that Democrats controlled both houses of Congress in 2021 and still did not manage to pass the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Act of 2021. Biden promised a path to citizenship for these people and did not deliver. So enough with the politics.
Wow. That is insane.
I'm a border state governor.
Oh, we don't want to hear it again, mate. Anyway, I'm wondering how long it'll take for this to come to Australia, because we're more aligned with California than any other state in the USA, so God help us all. So is the UK and Canada. I wonder how many of our countries are doing this with illegal migrants. Gary D said within 11 days until voting starts. 11 days! It's getting close, guys. Real close. With 11 days until voting starts, election season kicks off sooner than you think. Election day is approaching fast. However, most Americans will have already cast their ballots before November the 5th. Early voting starts as soon as September the 6th for eligible voters, with 7 battleground states sending out ballots to at least some voters the same month. Wow. Get in and vote. Trump 2024. Make the world great again. Oh my God. He is leader of the free world. Whoever's in charge in the US is leader of the free world, don't forget. Dear God, we don't want it to be Kamala Harris. Okay, now we've got this one. Insurrection Barbie said, how is it acceptable for taxpayer-funded federal agencies to make $200,000 contributions to the Kamala Harris campaign? Yes, you heard that right. Listen to this lady.
Kamala Harris's largest donors, and these are by far not the largest donors, but these came up as an eye-opener for me, and I thought I would share them with you because these are government entities that we fund as taxpayers, and I don't understand how it is not a conflict of interest for them to make a campaign donation. So the U.S. Department of Defense donated $213,000. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services donated $263,000, and the U.S. Department of State donated $199,000. But the big eye-opener was for me is and I thought you veterans would like to hear this, the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs donated $217,000 to Kamala Harris's campaign. Now, even if they did the same with the other candidate, I'm questioning that. I don't understand how that is not a conflict of interest. There might be something about it that I don't understand, but I just feel like that is a huge conflict of interest and that it should be.
They should not be allowed to do that. How?
Kamala Harris's.
Because they're using taxpayer dollars for it. Okay, and that was the clip that we got introduced to, okay? That was by Bruce Porter Jr. using a laser to cut down tree branches. Is it for real? I don't know, but I'd love to see it. Julie Kelly said Jack Smith just filed his brief appealing Judge Cannon's dismissal of classified docs case based on unconstitutional appointment of special counsel. The brief rehashes DOJ arguments carefully dismantled by Cannon's order last month. I mean, this is silly talk. The district court's contrary reasoning lacks merit. Its focus on the absence of the word appoint in section 515 ignores the term retain is synonymous with appoint. Oh my God, come on, man. Just give it up, Jack. They can't. They're hanging on by their fingernails, believe me. And they're panicking hard right now. American as fuck said RFK, sorry. I keep saying JFK Jr. RFK Jr. explains how BlackRock and Vanguard are buying up all the homes. Let's have a listen.
The average home in our country 2 years ago was $215,000. Today it's $400,000. And so kids today, like your kids and my kids, are never going to buy a home. There's three big companies, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. These are the biggest companies. Those three companies own 88% of the S&P 500. Wow. So they basically just own everything. And now what they've decided is they want to own every single family home in our country. Klaus Schwab says, famously, he says, under the Great Reset, you will own nothing, but you will be happy. They pay nothing for money. Their credit is so impeccable.
Oh, I see. They have like a 900.
Yeah. Oh. So they got the better than the best credit rating.
But isn't that like privatized communism or something? That's what it feels like.
Well, yeah, it's like socialism for the rich, and this is barbaric, merciless, ruthless, savage capitalism for the poor. The average home in our country 2 years ago.
That's really, really weird. Because it's funny, here in Australia, in the year 2000, right now, it's only 24 years away, but in the year 2000, an average home was around $130,000. Now the average home is worth $900,000 to $1 million, 24 years later. Unbelievable. And before that, it didn't go up like that either. It's insane. Okay, Miss.
It's important. And everybody thinks, elections are about abortions, guns, and the border, and about hating the other guy. And when you start talking about the issues that are really important to people, the chronic disease, the debt, the addiction to war, restoring our soils, having healthy foods, I see that there's a tremendous receptivity by Republicans and Democrats. And of course, they want to make sure Republicans and Democrats never get together on anything.
Exactly. And some of us have been questioning what about the food and
my experience,
pharmaceuticals for quite a while. So there we go. We got that one. Sandra Taylor said, vote One Nation here in Australia. Aussie Bot said, Pauline going after the groomers in our schools. Pauline Hanson said it's been reported that at-home learning enrolments in Queensland have increased by 229% in the last 5 years. There are 11,250 students being homeschooled in the state. Parents are pulling their kids from Queensland schools in unprecedented numbers, and here's why. Bullying, which no longer confined to the playground but entering every victim's home via social media. Poor academic records and performance. Woke activist teachers and school curricula. The nation's largest homeschool education provider said parents consistently say they're dismayed at what's being taught and what's not being taught in Queensland schools. These parents deserve a pat on the back for taking a keen interest in their kids' education and shielding them from the indoctrination taking place in our schools. Students must be educated, not indoctrinated. Students should be taught how to think, not what to think. They shouldn't be forced to recite acknowledgements of country, touching their hands to the ground. They shouldn't be taken out of school to attend protests. Any teacher that indoctrinates children should be sacked and never permitted to teach in Australia again. They can always get a job with the Greens senator who will happily indulge in their woke extremism and hatred of Australia. One Nation is taking an education policy to the Queensland state election that will stop this indoctrination of innocent children. We'll focus on the basics to improve literacy and numeracy. We'll reward teachers whose classes achieve good academic results. And we'll put parents at the centre of education decision-making, ensuring they have a meaningful say in what their kids are taught. Go Pauline Hanson. She's our Trump. She's all we got. Okay, what fresh hell is this? Said, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And oh, what a cute puppy dog. Oh, little sweetie. Oh, so cute. Okay, Trix said, why have another party? Can't you guys all get together and form one alternative? Australia deserves better. Splintered opposition's never going to work. One Nation, UAP, Independents, Libertarians, Great Australia Party, now People First. On the same page, get together, please. And this is what I was talking about yesterday. When Gerard Reddick leaves the Liberal Party, he's launching People's First Party. Why can't they all get together? One Nation, UAP, Great Australia Party, what is going on? But I think we have our RFK Jr. moment here. Okay? Because it's funny, what happens in America happens in Australia not long after. So, okay, and Gerard Rennick has launched his first People's Party, but everyone is asking, please, you know, governments need to get back to service delivery of essential service and standing up for Australians who try and stand up for themselves, which is what I read yesterday. Okay, Professor Rogers speaks for the hard workers, I believe. Disturbing videos of outraged Australians. Anthony Albanese is being blamed for catastrophic Northern Territory election loss. Australians are turning against Albo and his Labor government. Sky News, One Nation, Gina Reinhart. Now, watch this because I think he's being run out of it. He won't be able to walk down the street, put it that way. He's a smug a-hole. Okay, now this one.
Anthony Albanese walked into seething anger in the New South Wales town of Nimbin.
I see everyone's coming down, but what I see is bread and circus while Rome is burning.
It was nothing compared to the fury levelled at Labor member for Lismore, Janelle Saffron.
Your house is not burning! My house is burning down! What are you doing? Nothing! You're laughing! You're having a circus! You're playing with fire!
Wow. Go people, going at the Labor Party. I don't think they're going to be able to walk down the street shortly at all. Blair White said Trump promises to classify the JFK assassination and the Kennedy family would rather throw their own blood under the bus than see justice for their blood that was murdered. Is scum a harsh enough word? Kennedy family comes out swinging against obscene RFK Jr. Yeah, they've been bought and paid for. Worse than disappointment, several prominent Kennedy siblings, including Kerry Kennedy and Max Kennedy, condemned their brother's decision to endorse the Republican nominee for president. Yeah, that's pretty sad, actually. Michael O'Keefe said, if you're from Ireland, have family in Ireland, or you descend from Ireland, please watch and share this footage. As well as the towns and cities, rural Ireland is being planted with foreigners. Locals aren't just being ignored, but pushed aside. Let's have a little listen at this.
How are you going, folks? How are you?
We're not wonderful, to be honest with you, protecting our village. No.
Folks, I'm just going to ask you to step off the road if you don't mind. There's trucks and vehicles coming up behind these get hurt, alright?
My phone is so crap.
Right, lads, mind just stepping into the side of the road, please.
What's he covering his face
Just
for?
watch the car there, lads, if you wouldn't mind, just the road there.
Don't touch me, get your hand off me. Get your hand off me.
Oh, this way.
Get your hand off me.
Then move over there. Just move over there, please. Yeah. Come on, this way. Thanks. Just want to move you nice there. Come on now. Don't be. Lads! Here. What are you doing? Come on. That's a car. You ready to get yourself first?
Ask them to come in off the road, man. Okay? Let's get these people off the road. Folks, I'm asking you to go back in off the road. I'm sorry, you can't come any further. You're committing an offence on the road traffic.
No, we're walking. We're walking. We're walking.
Go any further.
We are walking along the road.
Get north side, line across the road.
I was pushed over this side.
We're walking.
I was pushed over here. Come on, back off the road, folks. Come on, back off the road, folks. Back off the road, folks.
Okay, that's really sad to see. They're getting pushed out so they can dump more immigrants in there. Michael O'Keefe said, Cork, Africans causing trouble. Two-tier policing on display here as Gardaí use kids' gloves with aggressive Africans while peaceful Irish protesters have been beaten, pepper sprayed up and down the country. So there you go. We've got two-tier policing everywhere by the look of it. Barry Stanton said Americans seem to deal with their black African migrant criminals more efficiently than British police. This one's going to have to be played on Rumble. And I'm sorry, I have no sympathy for that man who was going to knife a little girl. Generic white bitch said 14,800 police officers deployed to the Notting Hill Carnival at a cost of approximately £12 million to the British taxpayers per year. 20 sexual assaults, 54 stabbings, 57 assaults on police, and 71 found carrying offensive weapons, 2017 to 2023. Is this money well spent? Yeah, I don't think so. Lee Harris said, imagine finding out that 3 innocent people were killed at a horrific Islamic terror attack in Germany and your reaction is to be worried about the far right. This is absolutely absurd.
When you look at something like this, you just really worry about how it could be used by those on the far right to stir up hatred. To look at this and say, well, here's the justification. This is why this will be jumped on by those on the far right. To say, well, there's some justification to our our cause, and that's concerning. And nobody, there's, ISIS is a terrorist organisation. This is plainly being treated as a terrorist attack, as it should be, and the police and authorities should be able to do their work and bring the perpetrator, whoever it might be, to justice. But I do, it is concerning, I think, that...
But they're not, are they? They are not being brought to justice, and you people here are inflaming the thing. And what are you worried about far right for when you should be worried about the immigrants you're letting into the country, you thickheads?
Potentially the way, this could play out. We've seen the rise of the riots in Germany particularly, but also in this country and across Europe as well.
Yasmin, I saw on social media earlier people saying, what did this person look like? Now, were they asking to do a public service, so people keep an eye out if they are still at large, or were they up to no good in asking that question?
No, and as Theo says, the whole riots thing and how it was instigated. And look, I'm a Muslim.
Obviously now. Okay, here we go. There you go.
When you look at something...
That is insane. These people they're hoping that the far right stands up and starts, because then they can, bring in military rule. Nick Dixon said the atmosphere continues to be brilliant, apart from 3 people stabbed, including a woman who was with her child who is now critical condition. So insane how stabbings are just accepted part of it, like muttered at Glastonbury. Okay, let's have a listen.
The atmosphere continues really to be brilliant, to be a party atmosphere. We're surrounded by people, hundreds of thousands of people who have spent the day partying out in the sunshine, enjoying the parade, of course, which kick-started earlier this morning, and which people have continued to enjoy the music and the food and everything that this carnival, this festival really, celebrating Caribbean culture, has to offer across the bank holiday weekend. This is Adults' Day, and this is the day which is typically seen as the climax. This is where most people come. But it's also the largest challenge for the police, and there is a huge police presence here. You're seeing officers walking around in huge groups. They're doing their best to keep people safe. We're talking about around 1 million people expected to Notting Hill, to this area of West London, across the bank holiday weekend. So that is a huge task, just keeping people safe, just preventing the crowds from moving in problematic ways. But of course we know, as we heard from the police yesterday, and as we've seen sadly in recent years, that occasionally amongst the nearly 1 million people who show up, there are stabbings, there is knife crime. There were 2 men yesterday and a woman stabbed. The woman, a 32-year-old, now in hospital in a life-threatening condition. She was here yesterday with her child, and so the police have to balance that, keeping people safe, maintaining order on the streets, but also allowing people to have a great time.
Yeah, they're certainly doing that behind you. Rachel, thank you very much.
Okay, remember these people's faces, right? These propagandists, that lady, just lying straight to your face. And I did think that the twerkers in the back were funny. What do you call it? Is that what, twerking? Is that what it's called? I've got no idea. Bloody hell. I think it's twerking. Alex Palladian said, breaking, African black Muslim illegal immigrant seriously stabs 20-year-old man in Ipswich, UK. 17 stabbings have occurred across the UK in the last 48 hours. Looks like he's doing some kind of bloody dance. What are you doing, mate? Oh, dear God. Yep, okay. Then we've got the Babylon Bee. Now, this is satire, okay? This is supposed to be taking the P out of, UK Prime Minister recommends citizens avoid stabbings by submitting to the Holy Quran and acknowledging Muhammad as one true prophet of Allah, peace be upon him. Okay. Actually, it's probably not that much of a satire joke. That's probably what he thinks. Alex Palladian said Manchester city centre, stabbing black Muslim African migrant, attacks random white man with a machete in broad daylight. Video not shown in any press in the UK. We are the media now. What on earth? It's crazy. Absolute insanity. I think it's coming to a breaking point, guys. I really do. Alex Palladian again said while Keir Starmer puts white British people in jail for speaking out, this is what happens in London and all over the UK. Stabbing contests between groups of Muslim and illegal young men in parks with machetes, knives and long broadswords. What the media hides. It's chaos, absolute chaos. But they're worried about the far right. They should be worried about the people they're letting into the country. But no, just blame the far right. It's easier to blame them than take accountability or responsibility for yourself and what you've done. James Harvey said, "You're only joking. A month ago, Tommy Robinson's demonstration in London, which saw 0 arrests, was branded a far-right gathering, but Notting Hill Carnival, which has had 90 arrests, 3 stabbings, 6 assaults, etc., is branded a fantastic celebration." Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is it? It's fantastic scenes at Notting Hill Carnival today celebrating London's Caribbean communities. Carnival is part of the very fabric of our city and an amazing way to bring communities together. Okay, amazing way to bring communities together. 90 arrests, 3 stabbings, 6 assaults. Yeah, fantastic, great. Josh Dunlap said Jill Stein set to drop out and endorse President Trump. Dr. Jill Stein, we may disagree with RFK Jr. about many things, but he's right about how the Democratic Party uses lawfare and dirty tricks to suppress democratic competition and voter choice. The Dems preach about saving democracy, but in reality, they're working overtime to stamp it out. And just in response to this thing here, I want to show you something that I saw earlier, but I probably didn't play it. Okay, do you see this? He's dry humping a police officer. That's how much respect they have for you and the police. Okay, so we got that. Bo Loudon said rightful President Trump just sat down with Dr. Phil and reacted to RFK Jr.'s endorsement. I'm very honoured by it. He's a very smart guy. Will I have him in the administration? It's possible, Trump said. We know the fake news won't cover this. Make it go viral.
RFK Jr. has offered his support to you and your campaign. RFK Jr. has offered his support to you and your campaign. How do you feel about that?
I'm very honored by it. He's a very smart guy, a different kind of a guy, but very smart, loves our country, has some, I think, very good views on a lot of different things. And I've known him for a long time. We've been somewhat friendly, actually. And I think he's going to be a great asset. And will I have him in the administration? It's possible. We haven't really discussed that, but it's possible. But I think he adds a lot. I think he adds a lot to the election. He's got a good following, tremendous following. I think he adds a lot to the election. And I think he adds a lot to if we win. I mean, he's got some very interesting ideas and good ideas.
RFK Jr. has offered his support.
Sorry, but what the freaking hell is going on in the background here? Was the building moving? I don't know. It was giving me a bit... I don't know. Oh my goodness. I don't know if that building was moving. I'll just play it without the sound and see if you can tell me. Is the building moving or is it the camera? Like, what is going on here right now? Right now. What's this? What is happening? It's making me disorientated. Okay. EE 1776 said Kwame Kilpatrick that was the 72nd mayor of Detroit from 2002 to 2008 for the Democrat Party. He was sentenced to 28 years in prison when President Trump granted him clemency, and he gives a wonderful analogy of President Trump saving him and his family, lives, and now he's pitching the ticket of Trump vans to black voters who traditionally vote Democratic in big numbers. It's like this. My house was on fire. My wife and all my children were in it. We couldn't get out. Firefighter kicked in the front door. He ran upstairs. He dragged me at 300 pounds out the door. He grabbed my wife, grabbed her out and got all my kids out. Got us on the front lawn and the firefighter pulled up his mask and it was Donald Trump. I want Trump in the room when Vladimir Putin shows up. I want Trump in the room if from China walks into the room. Someone from China? I want Trump in the room when Kim Jong-un comes to play. Yep. He's the only one who can do it. Donald J. Trump said Kamala and her handlers are trying to make it sound like I'm the incumbent president so that they can blame me for the failure of the past 4 years. No, it was their failure. It's one of the worst presidencies in history, and she's definitely the worst vice president. She's been in there for 4 years, and all these things she says she's going to do, why hasn't she done? Just answer me that. Jack Poso said breaking Vietnamese refugee tells President Trump he must win to defeat communism. No communism, no communism. We need you for 4 more years. Let's have a listen.
Should I let you? At least a few words. At least a few words. We'll all fight for you, sir. So let me ask you, you still love your country, right? Yes? Yes. No, but you still love Vietnam. Yes. Not the party. Not the communist now. No communist. Not the party. Not the communist party. No communist.
But we need you. We need you for the next 4 years.
Should I let you?
Oh, how cute. I don't know why. I think Asian people are really cute. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. They just are. They're very cute. I don't know. Nick Sortor said new. President Trump says he's looking to put both Elon Musk and RFK Jr. in his cabinet when elected. This is the deep state's worst nightmare. Trump said he put Elon Musk in charge of cutting the fat out of the government, and RFK would be in charge of making America healthy again. This administration's going to be absolutely legendary.
That Elon Musk said that he would accept a position in your cabinet. Would that have to do with artificial intelligence?
So
if
Elon
you chose
and I
him?
have a great relationship. He's great. He is a totally unusual character. Do you know Elon at all?
I don't.
He's great. And he's smart. And we have to cherish our geniuses. You know, we don't have too many of them, right? But he is a brilliant guy. And what he really would like to do is get involved in cutting some of the fat. And he does know how to do it. And he loves the country. You know, it's just an amazing thing. We had a conversation the other day. You would know better than me, but I hear it had hundreds of millions of people. I heard it had the biggest audience that there's ever been. I mean, would you say that's a correct statement?
I would absolutely say
There's
that's
never been
correct.
anything even close. I heard 750 million people. I mean, numbers that are crazy. And yeah, he wants to be involved. Now, look, he's running big businesses and all that, so he can't really, I don't think he'd be cabinet. I'd put him in the cabinet, absolutely, but I don't know how he could do that with all the things he's got going. But he can sort of, as the expression goes, consult with the country and give you some very good ideas. Like on AI, there's nobody knows more about it than Elon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big, big thing. And he said it's very important. I mean, it's very important for the country. If we don't do it, China's going to do it, or somebody else, but most likely China. And China is working right now to develop massive electricity, a flood of electricity, a massive flood of electricity. And we don't, because we have people that they're not even thinking about that.
Yeah.
And we have to win this election. This election November 5th will be the most important day, in my opinion, in the history of our country. Because if our country goes the wrong way with this election, I think this country is doomed.
The world is doomed if it does go in the wrong
read
direction. Believe me. Please believe me. The world is doomed if he doesn't get in. AJ Huber said, breaking, RFK Jr. just announced this is only the beginning. Wait till you see the next additions to President Trump's unity government. Remember, RFK was asked to touch his nose if JFK Jr. was still alive. Enjoy the movie. Nothing can stop it. And he did actually just touch his nose. Okay. If I can get it to go back to, just wait a sec until it goes back to the beginning. Right, let's go.
This boy was.
Why can't we see him?
So many levels. The Deech.
Oh, there we are.
And this memo. All of
Touch your nose if JFK Jr. is alive, right?
And the Deech memo.
Okay.
Is one of those documents. It was a discovery document that was given to me by Mike Hugo, one of the original lawyers in vaccine injury litigation, who could not. They would settle.
It's up to you whether you believe it or not, but there you go. Robert F. Kenneth and polls show RFK Jr. voters breaking towards President Trump, says Trump campaign senior advisor Tim Murtaugh. In a state like Pennsylvania, where it could well come down to tens of thousands of votes, a half a point, 3/4 of a vote. There you go. Nick Sortor says ABC just called out Kamala Harris for using a video of President Trump's border wall in her new ads. If even ABC's calling her out for hypocrisy, you know it's really bad. Here we go. What's...
But if you take a look at that ad, and one thing that I found striking is if you look, and I think we have the images here, there are at least 3 points in that ad that show the border wall, Donald Trump's border wall. Is it now the position of the Democrats that they favor the border wall? But if you take a look at that ad, and one thing that I...
There you go. Yep, it was Trump's border wall. DC Drano said Tulsi Gabbard endorses President Trump. Another prominent Democrat has come out against their party to call out their Marxism and tyranny. The dam is breaking. What did I say about Tulsi? I did say Tulsi Gabbard yesterday, didn't I?
To the brink of nuclear war than we ever have been before. This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief. Because I am confident that his first task will be to do the work to walk us back from the brink of war. We cannot be prosperous unless we are at peace. And we can't live free as long as we have a government that is retaliating against its to the brink of nuclear war than we...
Okay, it just started playing over again there. And we have Charlie Kirk, Justine, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden skip the 3rd anniversary at Arlington National Cemetery honouring the 13 fallen soldiers who were killed in the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Only President Trump showed up. Yep, they didn't care about the people they left behind in Afghanistan. They don't care. Anyway, Trump was there. Nick Sauter said just in, President Trump says he'll immediately sign an executive order to stop funding migrant shelters and will instead divert the funds to assisting homeless veterans. This is great. Why aren't we doing this already? These American heroes should come first.
When I take office, I will sign an executive order to stop every penny that Harris has been spending on the shelter and transport of illegal aliens, and we will redirect that money to provide shelter and treatment for homeless American veterans. And we will end very rapidly veterans' homelessness in America. We had it down to a level that was the lowest in a long time. When I take office...
Yeah, the poor veterans. I mean, like, look after your own country before you start looking after another country. Now, this is pretty good, actually. Bella Deplorable said just because, right? hang on. Wait. Okay, go, good kitty.
Putin is trying to bait the trap. Putin is trying to bait the trap.
Oh, because you just got to have something funny in there, you know? Ah, good kitty. Sandra said this is exactly what MAGA means. We want a safe, healthy, prosperous America for all Americans. Most Democrats are not intelligent enough or are too entrenched in the Democrat power structure to understand MAGA. You do. Thank you, Robert Kennedy Jr. Okay, what MAGA really means. The phrase has troubled liberals who think it's a call for a return to America before civil rights, gay rights and women's rights. But I have a more generous interpretation, one that is truer to my experience of Donald Trump as he is today. Make America great again. Recalls a nation brimming with vitality and a can-do spirit, with hope and belief in itself. It was an America that was beginning to confront its darker shadows, could acknowledge the injustices in its past and present, yet at the same time could celebrate its successes. It was a nation of broad prosperity, the world's most vibrant middle class, and an idealistic belief, though not consistently applied, in freedom, justice and democracy. It was a nation that led the world in innovation, productivity and technology, and it was the healthiest country in the world. I've talked to many Trump supporters, I've talked with his inner circle, I've talked to the man himself. This is the America they want to restore. Yeah, happy, healthy, place for all. Really, isn't it? Okay, my chair's very squeaky, please don't mind that. Janie Johnson said America is exceptional. Democrats hate everything America. Alan Roth said a peek into the mindset of Harris radical Democrats. Janie Johnson, America's Exceptional, said Democrat strategist argues on CNN burning the American flag is patriotic. This is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's America. Who is arguing this? The post-Democrat strategist argues on CNN burning the American flag is patriotic. What an idiot. Jeez. Okay, the Road Knight said Australia's ABC has posted a poll saying that if Australians could vote in the US election, 48% would vote for Kamala Harris and 27% would vote for Donald Trump. What say you? Please vote Australians only. Well, there you go. With 7,134 votes, Donald Trump comes in at 90.7%. Kamala Harris comes in at 7.2%. And people who don't know, who are unsure, at 2.1%. Isn't that just amazing? Because our ABC here in Australia said if Australians could vote, 48% would vote for Kamala. Well, that's a bit out there, isn't it? Okay, Pauline Hanson said it's been reported that at-home learning enrolments in Queensland, got increased by 229%. Okay, Senator Gerard Rennick said on Friday, Federal Court Justice Robert Browning came to the conclusion Ms. Tickle hey. I mean, you can call them Ms. Was excluded from the app for not looking sufficiently female and there was therefore indirectly discriminated against. Ms. Grover has now hit back against the ruling, saying she will appeal the judge's decision. Go, woman, go. In my view, I've not been found guilty of indirect discrimination against a woman because the whole crux of the case was that I don't acknowledge that this male person, an adult male, is a woman, she told A Current Affair. By the end, we will have spent potentially around $1.2 million establishing that men are not women. Whatever happened to free thought and free speech in this country? Why are courts denying people the right to think for themselves? If people want to hold the view that this person is a man, not a woman, why can't they? If someone wants to hold the view that they are a particular sex, that's up to them. But other people should not be forced to accept their view of what constitutes a man or a woman. Far from upholding individual rights, our courts, like our governments, are destroying them. Look, if someone had schizophrenia, do you believe their illusions? You know, do you go along with them? Do you enable that behaviour? No, you don't. Well, same thing here. Because to me, my opinion only, it's a bit of an illness in the head. Okay, Miss Mudge said, hey, ANZ Bank here in Australia, I've been on hold for with your Falcon team for 1 hour and 5 minutes so far. First, you stole my $10,000 that I was transferring to my account at another bank, claiming it was a suspect transaction despite the fact that I used voice verification and password. Then you failed to contact me to tell me you had done this. So I've spent the last 5 days stressing, thinking I'd stuffed up and sent the money into the ether. You'd better not ask me what the money was for. You suck. I'll be moving all my money out and closing my account. And this person here, Kel Natasha, said I was buying a house with cash I had in ANZ. They caused me so much grief just to take out the money I had there for the transaction. I gave them 2 months' notice and still had to sit in the bank for hours, literally arguing with them to transfer the money on the day of the purchase. And then Miss Mudge replied, my friend tried to take out $20,000 to buy a car a few weeks ago. They refused to let her, claiming that they were worried she was being scammed. Police ended up getting involved. I tried to withdraw $2,000 over the counter in ANZ a couple of months ago, and they wanted to know what it was for. Things are going to shit. That's an understatement, love. Seriously. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is. Ian Miles Chong said NASA engineers are training to become woke and retarded, explains their failures as of late. As of late? I think the failures have been going on in quite a while. Maybe some laundering going on there at NASA. They're doing a lot of washing, you know. Not of clothes either. They're not doing their laundry. It's money they're laundering. Tenet Media said NASA's DEI trainings include engineers vocalising they feel shame for being white and for taking part in white supremacy culture. Oh dear God. I don't think I need to know anymore. That's enough. Malcolm Roberts said the CFMEU has stolen over $1 billion in Australia's largest wage theft case, exploiting the very workers it was meant to protect. The CFMEU union bosses colluded in this theft, as confirmed by an independent report I commissioned called Coal Miners' Wage Theft. An analysis of 5 enterprise agreements in central Queensland and the Hunter Valley shows wage theft ranging from $21,000 to $41,000 per person per year. Oh my God, imagine that, per year. The Independent Workers Union of Australia has lodged multiple complaints with the Fair Work Ombudsman, including one for $211,000 owed to a single worker. Despite the mining and energy union splitting from the CFMEU, it has recently applied to negotiate a new enterprise agreement, but won't seek back pay for miners, as they know this would expose them. Labor ministers, departments and agencies are colluding to enable wage theft, especially in the Hunter Valley electorate, where Labor MPs are complicit. Despite a Senate investigation being ordered months ago, nothing has happened. Labor is turning a blind eye, likely because they rely on millions in donations from the CFMEU. Minister Watt's push for no disallowance is about maintaining control, with the party entangled in a power struggle with the CFMEU. So Labor and this union are ripping off the people, and they don't want to dob each other in because then it's all going to come out in the open. It already is coming out in the open. The CFMEU, tied to criminal bikie gangs, shows no concern for its members' health, wages or retirement. Union bosses sitting on agency boards meant to protect workers are either stealing from members or allowing it to happen. The conflicts of interest, particularly with the CFMEU members holding positions on superannuation boards, are enormous. Oh, that's just ridiculous. There's way more than one conflict of interest going on here. Labor won't fix this, and their collusion with the CFMEU puts them above the law. So there's nothing, they can't be held accountable till we change government. Go Pauline Hanson and Malcolm Roberts. And I hope everyone who fights for Australia joins One Nation. At least, get in one party, guys. Libs of TikTok said they're going to come for X and Elon next. Free speech is the biggest threat to the globalists. We better speak up now or we're fucked. Tommy Robinson said the owner of Telegram, Pavel Durov, has just been arrested in France for failing to censor the truth on his application. The EU regime is exposing nobody but themselves. Then they're going to try and come after Elon next. Ian Darley said Marxist dictatorship regime modus operandi. The key characteristics are: 1. Lack of protection. The state fails to effectively prevent or punish violent crimes, allowing chaos and anarchy to reign. Okay, that's what you got. Excessive regulation. The state imposes strict controls on citizens' behaviour, speech and activities, often targeting perceived offences rather than genuine threats to public safety. And as for anarchy, right, I used to believe in anarchy because I've been, on my awake travels since 2008, and I looked into anarchy, and at some point I thought it was a great idea. I no longer do, because I know the weak will be killed by anyone who's bigger and stronger and has more people in their army than you do. Okay, you might want to live, fine to yourself and all that, but it won't happen. There's always people who won't leave you alone. Okay. The excessive regulation, often targeting perceived offences rather than genuine threats to public safety. That's what we see with words. Double standard. The government applies different standards of justice, with some individuals or groups, example career criminals, being treated with leniency or impunity, while others, example those expressing unpopular opinions, face harsh punishment. You see that in, UK right now. Even here in Australia, really. And America, because they're not, we're not punishing violent crimes. We're allowing chaos and anarchy to reign to certain extents in some countries for certain people. Tim Young said, let's all remember how Democrats really feel about Kamala. Okay, watch this. Watch her face and watch. Should I turn it down? Does that mean they don't like her? I don't know. Okay, Liz Churchill said they lie about everything. A bug-eating festival, kids crunch down on the food of the future. In September 14, 2017, right? 6 years later, this right-wing conspiracy theory about eating bugs is about as racist as you think. But hey, they were talking about it here. A bug-eating festival, kids crunch down on the food of the future. Okay, and then all of a sudden it's conspiracy theory? James Melville said we're in a post-truth world where you can't believe the media, you can't believe Big Pharma, you can't believe politicians. I personally believe and invest in my wife and kids and family. I believe in them, said Robbie Williams.
We're in a post-truth world where you can't believe the media, you can't believe Big Pharma, you can't believe politicians, you can't believe what you're eating, you can't believe yourself. It's, you know, if at any time in human, since we've existed, there is a time where this whole empire could fall, it's now. And yeah, it's of course these things are going to arise because we can't trust anybody or anything. And I personally just believe and invest in my wife and my kids and my family. And yeah, I believe in that. We're in a post.
Okay. Robbie Williams, don't believe in anything. Even yourself, apparently, he said, I believe in myself. But anyway, let's not worry about that. Illuminati Bot said the reason the experts are always baffled is because the narratives they're paid to push are not only wrong, but outright lies. Scientists struggle to understand why Antarctica hasn't warmed for over 70 years, despite the rise in CO2. Yeah, they're always baffled at something. Seriously. The Road Knight said MSO hires Peter Garrett to investigate mean word controversy. The man who oversaw the Pink Bat scheme in which 4 people died and 120 houses burnt down. How can he sleep while the beds are burning? This Peter Garrett used to be a musician. Midnight Oil, okay? He used to be the singer of Midnight Oil. Look them up if you don't know who they are. They're an Australian band. They used to be an activist-type band. Yeah, but here you go. Peter Garrett to investigate mean words. He's part of the establishment. He was, always was, trying to steer people into the Aboriginal, like the whole UN thing about Aboriginals. And then he became a politician. He was a musician who became a politician. And he's useless. Absolutely useless. Juanita Broderick said, good old Jerry Nadler admitted you could steal millions of votes and no one would know. Mark Lewis said, leaked video, Jerry Nadler admits you can steal millions of votes and no one would know. Let's have a listen.
If, in fact, someone were deliberately hacking these machines, you could steal millions of votes and no one would know it, and that's why the methodology is problematic. Now, there's no evidence that happened, but you can't prove it didn't either, and you can't prove it won't next time, and that's why we have to have a paper trail. We've documented it. Any number of people have documented a machine in this county that recorded 11,000 extra votes for Bush. In that county, there was counting Kerry votes for Bush. People who pushed touched Kerry's name would come up Bush, and they touched it again, and it would come up Bush, and they touched it a third time, and finally got it right. And all kinds of things like this. One machine, when we say one machine, these are large machines, like half a county apparently. After it reached 3,000 votes total, every time you voted for Bush, it subtracted one instead of added one. When you pushed Kerry, it subtracted one instead of adding one. And all these instances were instances where they were caught.
There you go. Paper ballots, hand counting. Wall Street Silver said unrealised capital gains tax failed in Norway. Interesting lessons on the impact of taxing unrealised capital gains. Norway expected an additional $150 million in annual tax revenue, but caused $54 billion in wealth to flee the country, costing them $600 million in annual tax revenue. There you go. That's how to collapse something. Anyway, unrealised capital gains tax, couldn't that also mean, does that also apply to, say, your house? Say you bought your house for $30,000 in 1980, okay? And say it's worth $1.5 million now. Are they allowed to tax you on all that? I don't know. I'm just asking. I really don't know personally. And I am genuinely asking you guys a question. If any of you know, please let me know in the comments down below. AussieBot said Bill of Rights needed. AF Post. Australian Immigration Minister vows to block Candace Owens' visa application. Says he hopes she has a good refund policy. Oh, they're doing this again, are they, in Australia? They're not letting people in to talk. I'm surprised Tucker got in. Okay. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. The show goes on and we follow it. So there you go. I will be following it as far as I can. Okay, guys. Much love, and I think it's going to be, look, there's going to be a little bit more on Rumble than there is today here on YouTube, because there's a couple of things I think I'm going to have to cut out. But anyway, much love, guys, and I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.